You've ruined it for me. Like my whole Chicago belief is deep dish, windy city, freezing cold. I mean, those are the three things that I know of Chicago. Now I don't know anything.
I think the bug was there, but I was not listening to myself enough at that point.
Our next
Very-
guest grew up in the Chicago high school system built around math and science, not the arts. He went to college on an academic scholarship, planning to go into pre-med. Then, one acting class changed everything. He came home, auditioned, bombed it, stepped away, worked at Broadway in Chicago, watched other people live the life he almost gave up on, and then got pulled back to the stage that never left him. Today, he's an actor, writer, producer, director, casting mind, and founder of Rome Productions, building stories around representation, equity, and expanding the narrative of minorities in film. This is George Ellzey Jr. Welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you for that lovely introduction. That was very thorough and surprising.
Oh, George, it's so nice to have you here. Now, if our research team has done their homework correctly, you went to San Francisco High School in Chicago, and you said it was heavy on maths and science, but not the creative arts. That's what we said in the starting bit. How did you find that? I mean, were you drawn towards the arts and pushed into an academic structure?
Yes, so my high school was called Hell's Franciscan High School. It is no longer open. RIP to Hell's. It was an all-boys Catholic high school that focused primarily on math and sciences. And although there was literature class or English, there wasn't a lot of options for the arts. They didn't have enough funding for that. So I found the arts in my own way. When I was in high school, that was like the beginning of YouTube. So watching clips on there, music, art. And then another thing, my mother would take us out to the local like theaters and museums. So that was my real exposure to the arts at the time. But educational wise, no, it was not there, nor was it a plan for that.
And what was the first time you had your first acting lesson? When was that?
That was in college. So I went to Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Maine, miles away from Chicago, and I had to take my like general ed classes. So they give you 4 classes essentially that are in different disciplines. And I took an acting class, and it just opened up my world. I think since I was younger, I've always been a storyteller. I've always loved pretending, make believe, if you will. And taking an acting class opened me up in a way that I was neglecting for a while.
And you've shared previously that you were nervous to tell your mum about the shift and how you wanted to move over into the creative world. What was that like?
It was nerve-wracking because prior to going to Bowdoin, I was really on the pre-med track. So I was volunteering at hospitals. I was going to conferences as a high schooler. And then when I went to college, it was very much of, I'm choosing this liberal arts college because they have a great pre-med or science program. So, Lord and behold, when I took an acting class, and that opened up my horizons of this could be a viable career path. It took me a year, Dave, to figure out how to tell my mother about it. And then what actually helped, there is in the fall at Bowdoin, they have a parents weekend, like alumni parents weekend. And so she came and saw me perform, and that was her way of agreeing with this new career path.
Was it an immediate agree, or did you have to work on that quite a bit?
Oh no, it was pulling teeth. It was very much like, we're gonna tiptoe around this. But I think she saw my passion on stage. She saw how much I loved it, and so it took a while. But I think once I got to my senior year, she was totally on board. But that being said, at my undergrad, I had to double major, so I was a theater and English major. So I was holding
Oh,
both
wow.
because she wanted me to have a job once I graduated.
And then you went back to Chicago, and as we said earlier, you had an audition and you bombed it, and that's what kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
stepped you away.
Yeah.
Like, what was this audition that was so bad that made you totally reject and step away?
You know, it's funny you're bringing it up. Great research, really. Gosh, I don't even recall what it was, but I just remember the feeling of not being prepared, um, feeling super green in the audition process. Also, I felt like the casting agent knew or could have like sussed me out pretty quickly. So they were just like, all right, you don't have to do it again. Have a good day. And so from that embarrassment, which was needed, I took a step away from performing. And I'm grateful that I did because it took me on the path of like learning more about the business and creative marketing and um, things that you don't value as a performer or have to worry about.
It's very rare because most people tell you that 90% about being an actor is rejection, and
Hmm.
it's interesting that at the first hurdle you almost felt that rejection, and then went into other paths, which is wonderful because you did the marketing after that, which obviously then led you to work through what you're going to do and how you're going to make your way back into it. But yeah, it's
Yes.
interesting that that you weren't well equipped enough by whomever was teaching to say you're going to get rejected. Get used to it. This is always going to happen. Like, don't give up.
Oh well, no, it was there. I was just a little bit hubris. Like I was on
Right.
my high horse coming back to Chicago, and so they like knocked me down. Like I was underneath the earth at that point, Dave. And so
Yeah.
that was healthy.
Oh.
I think there's something about youth that gives you confidence and like, maybe overcompensating and cockiness. And then when you're hit with reality, that makes you reassess who you really are. Um, and so, yeah, I'm grateful for that path. I'm grateful that I received that rejection because now as a filmmaker, rejection does not impact me as much. It's like, okay, that wasn't the right door for me, or even like, okay, whatever, it doesn't matter. On to the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did Richard Gallion do to help you get back into it? What was his key training that like assisted?
Ye- wow, you dug it up. Like this is great. You have the names. You know what Richard Gallion offered was hand-on mentorship that I needed. So I had that break, I was working more corporate, and when I decided to do acting again, my confidence was low. And to have someone to walk alongside me, help me sharpen the skills that were like dull for a couple of years, that's what he gave me. That just one-on-one attention to help build up my confidence again.
Yeah. And did you want to go straight back into acting at that point? Because you've done so much since then, obviously. So and you had the broad spectrum knowledge of what the world was like. So had that already opened up your eyes to say, oh, I want to try writing, or I want to try directing, or I want to try X, Y, and Z? Or was it still, well, let's do the acting first? Did you have a bug to bear?
I think the bug was there, but I was not listening to myself enough at that point. I thought it was acting that I wanted to go into, but it was really storytelling. When I built up my confidence again with Richard Gallion, I knew that I had a voice in terms of story. But again, I thought it was just like, oh, I can perform someone else's plot, someone else's play, a commercial or something like that. But underneath it was, no, you have a voice. Now you need to refine that through your own writing process and creating your own work. And so after once I started acting again, I got some some good gigs around the city. I got into a couple plays and commercials and stuff like that. But I think it lasted around a year and a half, when it just dawned on me, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Um, I should be writing my own materials. I should be directing actors. And so I went to my agent and I told them, hey, I'm taking a step back. I'm going to start directing. And the agent at the time was like, okay, yeah, we'll keep you on the roster. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. um, but yeah, it really sums down to listening to myself. And I feel like that has sustained my career now, transitioning from an actor to screenwriter and director, knowing what is important to me, knowing my values as an artist has allowed my career to move forward.
It's interesting. I've spoke to a lot of directors and screenwriters and authors, and they say that when you do so many different roles, acting's always a great example. Actors never have an appreciation for what a director does and how they do it. They just don't, and vice versa. A director doesn't understand what an actor goes through. So,
Yes.
are you very close to both sides of the worlds now that you've had, and screenwriter as well? Now that you've had all three of those, do you feel you're a lot closer to understanding what people are going through?
Oh, yes, very much so. I'm grateful for my acting background and experiences here in Chicago. Some amazing, but a lot of them were terrible, with directors who did not know how to communicate to actors, nor did they have a strong creative vision. And so, with every project that I embark on, I think of first, I think of myself in the writing process. Like, how is the story impacting me? Because if it doesn't impact me on the page, then it's not a good story. And then I think of the performer. Am I providing and writing material that will challenge an actor, that would make them pull out their skills, pull out their tools in their toolbox and actually work? Um, and then when we get on set, I'm very much a actor focused, human focused person, creating a space where actors have the courage to try things, to experiment, to fail quickly, to have fun. But that only came from my experiences, both good and bad, being on the other side of the camera.
Do you ever get challenged a lot by the actors in terms of changing some of the lines and various other things, which you've just said you allow them to do creatively, but on the flip side, you're like, well, I wrote this way. It's perfect the way it is. What are you doing?
That's a great question. I do not give them that creativity. I don't. But what I will say with that
There's a
is,
line, Dave.
there is a line. But what I do in rehearsal is establish that trust creatively, so the actor and I find common ground. Oftentimes, if you give actors too much freedom, they will lose themselves. And so I'm very much a stickler of like, this is the dialogue. Now, if it doesn't fit in the moment, then we can find some alternatives. But what's more important to me is, one, establishing trust with the talent, and then two, finding out who this character is. Not necessarily, making them finite, but posing questions to the talent and myself so we can get closer and closer together. So once we're on set, it's more of like, we're speaking the same language here. We're in the same
Yeah.
orbit, in the same neighborhood, we're in the same park. Now, we're both in this park. We can play the same as many games as we want, but you're in this place. And that's what I mean by having the freedom, for actors to have courage to try things. It's establishing a trust where they can know the parameters of a scene, of the character, but they can find nuances with them. And I find so much joy when I see an actor lose themselves in a character and they trust me enough to like keep them safe in the process. Because it's a lot of work to act. People do not understand the flexibility you have to have emotionally to be able to do takes over and over in front of strangers, people you don't know, and let's not put any like intimate scenes in there. That's just like a whole nother level of like meta out of body experiences. So I want strong performances in my projects, and so I really champion great performances.
I've never tried acting. I've never. I can imagine. I can't imagine being there doing the most emotional scene of my life and just letting it all out, and then someone saying, "Let's do that again. Good job." And I just can't imagine what that must feel like. I did it. What are you on about?
But you know what? Even in that, it's like you can find different alternatives for that performance. Like I love to work with imaginary circumstances. So if someone's like pouring their heart out in one take, I like to pose a question: what would it be like if this character did not cry or have access to their emotions? I think that gives actors a way to recuperate and then second, find new emotions in that. As humans, we are weird. We are complex. One moment you can be crying. The second moment you could be like cursing someone out. And the third moment you can be laughing. And
Yeah.
all of those things make a performance interesting as opposed to like someone crying the whole time. But it's that emotional flexibility that comes from feeling safe and knowledgeable of the material that actors can get to if the director directs them appropriately. I'm still learning, but
Yeah.
that's what I bank on.
No, I think all directors are still learning. I don't think that's just a unique thing to yourself. I think dealing with humans is dealing with humans, and you're always learning as to how you can work with them to get the best out of them.
Yeah, very much so. I'm
So
like a
you were
glorified manager.
you built Rome Productions, and you explained the meaning of representation for minorities in entertainment. Now, when you started that, what problem were you trying to solve?
But yeah, it's like I'm very impressed by this. So okay, so Rome started from my need to create my own materials. And so I
Mm-hmm.
was still in the early phase of like being insecure of embarking on my own path that I reached out to like my local community and see who wanted to join on board with me. And so two actors, Carly Anderson and Eric Sconiers, they joined on with me. And we were thinking of names of like what could work for this. And Carly actually came up with the idea of Rome and then the breakdown of it. And ideally, it was just the purpose of it was to create our own opportunities. Unfortunately, Rome was disbanded a while back ago. And I have my own production company now called Cottage Grove Productions. And we've been running about like 4 years now. It started
Mm-hmm.
after I got my MFA at DePaul in directing in television and film. And my thesis film, Cottage Grove, was very popular, and people knew me as the Cottage Grove guy. So I just named my production company Cottage Grove Productions to keep that brand recognition. So I think the identity, the core themes of Rome is still there, but now it's more specialized to what I see as my vision for my stories and other things that I want to produce. And yeah, I'm very excited for the horizon of our production company.
Nice. Let's talk about diversity. Now, you
Let's do
said
it.
that you you said that after watching La La Land, that it had an absence of diversity, and then wanting a version of that energy in the real world. So, what parts of Chicago and segregation shaped the story that you wanted to tell?
Oh my gosh. It's yeah, La La Land it frustrated me so much, especially for a town, a city so metropolitan like Los Angeles. You would expect more people of color in roles. Now, it is a business. I
Mm-hmm.
understand you have to make money, you have to have name talent to draw people. I got it. Um, but I was just frustrated at the time. And thinking about my own experience with like love stories in Chicago, it brought up this real fact of segregation in the city. Like there's a clear divide of resources from the north side to the south side. And that's historical. Like I don't want to get the dates wrong, but like in the 60s when segregation was disbanded, Chicago's had that as well, but it was more, I don't know, like unspoken, if you will. And so
Yeah.
from that idea, I'm like, okay, what if two people meet up at a party and then they live on opposite sides of the town? Would they actually stay in love? Now, as a city person who doesn't have a car, taking a bus or a train all the way to the north side to someone I care about is that's commitment. So we wanted to have the city be a character in itself because that it creates a roadblock at times.
Wow. Interesting. I don't know. I don't know if New Zealand, I'm in New Zealand these days. I don't know if New
Mm,
Zealand's like that. I don't know if that segregation, don't get me wrong. I
yeah.
don't believe it's been solved anywhere in the world, but I honestly believe that no one would have a problem driving somewhere for being in love and to see someone else. So that's an interesting dichotomy. Mm.
It may be, but you have to factor in Chicago winters. Now, our winters are different in New Zealand. So I was in New Zealand,
Yes,
2000,
you.
yeah, 2008. Yeah, 2008. And I was there for a winter. It is no winter like Chicago. You do not have the lake effect, the snow. So when I'm saying I have to take the bus from the south side all the way up to the north side, which could be on a good day 30 minutes, but in some crazy weather, maybe an hour, 2 hours. That's testing love right there. Like that's the block. So that's where division came from. It's just like how much was someone put into um true love if things like where they live in a neighborhood or cultural or racial divides keep them away from each other. Those are the things that we were exploring. Obviously, if you love someone, you'll make it happen. But I
Yeah.
think there's a case for it.
What's the weather like right now, George?
It is actually nice. And nice meaning it's like -1 Celsius.
I'm not going to tell you. We're opposites, right? You get that. You've been
Yes.
so yeah. I'm in the summer right now. I'm boiling. So yeah.
Good for you.
New York or Chicago pizza?
Chicago.
Deep dish.
No. See, that's a yeah. No. Real Chicagoans, the deep dish is for like tourists. It's more of thin
Oh,
crust pizza that's on south and north side. So I go to this place called Italian Fiesta. There's another place up north. It's called Pequod's. It's thin crust. That is Chicago pizza. The deep dish is just
you
I don't know
you
who made that.
you've ruined it for me. Like my whole Chicago belief is deep dish, windy city, freezing cold. I mean, those are the three things that I know of Chicago. Now I don't know anything.
You- Don't do deep dish. Like if you love cheese, great, go for it. But native Chicagoans, we rarely eat deep dish.
George, I am over 40. Whether I like cheese or not does not factor into the question that I cannot have it anymore. Are
That's
you up
fair.
for some fast fire questions?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Coffee or tea?
T.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
City life or quiet escape? I think we know the answer to this.
Actually, quite escape.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You
Honestly,
want to
when
come
I
back to
went,
New Zealand?
I want to retire in New Zealand. It's like I want. We can get into that. I want the flat. Yeah, I want it.
Not in Auckland, though, right?
I was in a Podiki.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. That's, yeah. Biggest inspiration growing up.
Oh, gosh. Uh, okay, James Baldwin. I'll just throw that out there. That's the first thing came
Okay.
to mind.
One habit you wish you'd started earlier.
Screenwriting.
One habit you wish you'd quit sooner.
I don't know.
Chicago deep dish pizzas. Cheese.
Thank you. Thank you for the assist. Thank you.
That's for me, not for you. Favorite failure.
Oh, that first audition when I came back to Chicago. I'm very grateful for that.
Nice. Best advice you've ever received.
Slow down.
Ooh, I like that. Worst advice you've ever followed.
Be like that guy.
What's a moment that changed everything, George?
Seeing Wicked when I was 13 years old.
Ooh, I do love Wicked. I really do. I've never seen it live. I'd love to see. I've only ever seen the movies with Ariana Grande, but
Yeah, you have to see it live. My mom took me and she fell asleep, but I was like enthralled at the show. So yeah, that was my first taste of the arts and live performance.
something people would be surprised to know about you.
Very weird. I'm really like I don't know. I'm nuts. Yeah.
I like
I
that.
think the whole quote about genius and insanity go hand in hand. That is me.
Nice. Finish this sentence. This is the final one, George. Success to me means.
Making my family proud.
Oh, I love that. Now, you've said, George, that in 5 years you want to be producing television, living abroad. Is that coming back to New Zealand and doing that, or?
I yes. I need to come back to New Zealand in general. That was transformative for me. Um, water rafting, just being outdoors. It's like you can't get that in Chicago. Um, and also, I think my style of filmmaking connects better with international audiences than American. Um, Again, going to New Zealand, spending time with my host family, I was watching movies like French New Wave films with them, and they were planting seeds to what will become my career later on in life. So, yeah, I see myself living abroad. I see myself retiring in New Zealand, like officially. Um, yeah, there's the world is so much bigger than Chicago or the U.S.
Yeah, well, we welcome you. Just hit me up when you come over here. So we shall catch up. We'll do this in person.
I would love that. Honestly, okay.
You're
That's a
in. You can
goal.
come to the studio. Yes,
I
done.
would love that. Seriously, yeah.
Done. You're on. What can we look forward to, George? What's coming up for you? What's coming out? What do we need to be aware of?
Great. Gosh. So my film Cottage Grove was acquired by streaming platforms, so that will be available to the public in the US and internationally for free soon. So I'm glad for that. I have two short projects coming out. One is a narrative short, it's a psychological drama called Closed Mouths. And then another narrative, well, experimental short called Accessories. And that is like zany 90s cartoon mixed with like silent film. So both of those projects are coming out later this year, and then in November of this year, I'm making my first full length film, which scares
Ooh.
me, but it's time. I'm ready to take that leap. I don't think you're ever fully prepared to make a feature, and so I'm putting all my eggs in the basket. I'm preparing as much as I can and praying for a little bit of luck. So that's what's happening this year.
I wish you the best. If you want some promotion and if you want to get the cast and crew to come and have some fun and some time with me on camera, they'd be very, very welcome. So
I would love that. This was so much fun. I, again, compliment you on your thoroughness, the engaging conversation. This was wonderful. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Where do you want your details, George? We always put the details, so if people want to contact you or help or see anything, do you want up, down, left, right? It will come on the screen.
Yeah. Cottage Grove Productions. Da-da-da. There. DM me, send me an email. It's on Cottage Grove Productions on all social platforms, our website, and yeah, we'll see you.
That's amazing. We'll put it right here. We're going to be back, guys, right after these messages. This week's episode is sponsored by Cine by Kyle. Retro film tees, Ghostbusters, Back to the Future. Basically, if your personality peaks somewhere around VHS, you're going to love this. Use code SAVEDB and it gets you 20% off. But use it wisely. Here's a quick video to show you what it's all about.
I was not to be tested. I'm next. I've been in the gym every day and I bench. Way too much weight to be getting offended. A whole lot of rage in the way that I step. I've been at war with the monsters inside of my head, and I keep coming out with the win. They gon' get me back on the field again. A whole